Today, I want to do a video where I show the evolution of my Lego collection and in particular, the actual office itself, the actual room. Um, I went from what you see here back in the very early days, 7 years ago, and evolved to what you now see behind me with this Moducase collection. This took a long time. It was a very significant transformation, and I kind of chunk it up into 4 phases. So please listen into this video, and I'll walk you through these 4 different phases and how this room evolved and got to where it is today. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. When I first moved into this house, I needed a home office and a place to display my growing Lego collection. IKEA is always the first option and a great way to get this done very effectively. I used the Vittjso series. It served me very well for several years and I have no regrets. So what you're seeing in the pictures here is my initial collection and how I chose to display. This worked. It was cost effective. It got the job done. You'll notice in the corner of these pictures my first Moducase, which was called a DF60. I loved it and knew that longer term, this was where I wanted to land. Eventually, I realized this hobby was not a passing fad and something I was genuinely enjoying and getting what I call a mental return on investment. I upgraded my entire Lego room to Moducase. This is fully discussed in a previous video from a few years ago. The link to that video is in the comments. If you're interested in that, that details everything. I kind of walk you through my rationale, the planning, costs, and execution. This essentially got me to where I am today. But I think it looks really cool. I do think things get lost a little bit in the corner, which is kind of a bummer, but I think it's kind of the nature of the beast too. Now we get into phase 3. This is where things get a little strange in terms of the video, so I kind of want to be clear on what it is you're seeing. Phase 3 is basically cut into 2 components. The first component was me upgrading my desk. So I had IKEA desks. I bought a standing desk, a black standing desk, and I also made some custom Alex cabinets. So these Alex drawers, I bought 2 of them. I painted them black. I then put a top on them and put the whole thing on casters so I could move it around to optimize my mock building. Added a little bit more storage space as well for some of my pieces for building larger scale mocks. So when you see this next piece of the video, that's kind of where things are. The Moducase has been there for a couple of years now. The collection is what it is. I've upgraded some pieces around the office itself, and I'm going to briefly touch on them in the video. But the only piece of the collection I'm really going to walk you through is the Cave God Sandcrawler. That's arguably the most talked about, kind of the one that a lot of people, when they come into my office, they see, they can't believe it. Great mock. I'll kind of briefly show it here. But the reason that I put this video together originally was for me to go through this collection one final time before I went to phase 4, if that makes sense. So what you're seeing here was probably taken probably 9 months ago. It's a moment in time of what my collection looked like before making this final phase 4 adjustment to the Moducase. It's been a while since I did a review of my Lego room, so let me just walk you through where I am right now because I'm going to make some big changes here coming up very soon. Okay, we walk up, sliding black door, and enter the Lego room. Been collecting for about 7 years. This is all Moducase or Moducase. Ordered from Singapore is where the shelves come from. I will take some time to kind of walk you through each individual case. I did my best to organize them in the way that I wanted them to organize, but what I find is when I do a video like this, there's a lot of glare from the acrylic cover for them. They work pretty well. I've had a couple challenges with the lighting and some other issues. You can see the Imperial Star Destroyer does not quite fit in a case. I ordered the stand from Wicked Brick, so I'll be fixing that soon enough. And then some of these, I have the unfinished Hoth mock kind of a diorama here, and you can get a feel for it. But I'll go through that in a little bit more detail here in a moment. That's the Cave God Sandcrawler, my piece de resistance, if you will. And then this is just the office, a little bit more boring. UCS gunship hanging there. I actually love that, like a big hawk or something like that. I think that looks really cool. And then what I've done, I organize all of my pieces here with these Acro Mills boxes. Again, not rocket science. I think a lot of people do this, but you get a feel for how I organize it, and I'll kind of just very quickly walk you through that. And then I made these little IKEA character boxes, minifig boxes, where I put just kind of the minifigs. These are the good guys and the bad guys. Not too complicated. So what I've done here, you can see up here, there's a guy named Brick Architect that actually shows these labels, and you can print out these labels and then put them in, obviously whatever order you want to, but you can see how I tried to organize them by part, by plate, and then, going down into Technic, etc. I think it looks pretty good. It's not perfect. And then there's certain areas where, I end up getting a ton of a particular color or a particular type. And in those instances, I copied a guy that I follow on Instagram, this guy called Yonder Bricks. These are Alex shelves from IKEA that I actually painted black because I just didn't like the white. I wanted it to go with the room. And then these are organized with all by color. Okay, so that's dark gray, light gray, light tan, and some, well, I don't even know what color that is. I call it geonosis, etc. So you kind of go through all of these drawers. Not all of them are filled, but I kind of walk you through the ones that have some stuff in it. Okay, now we come up to what I call my magnum opus. This is the Cave God Sandcrawler. This thing is absolutely unbelievable. I built this about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. It was kind of a COVID project. Bought the instructions on Brick Vault. They were like $60. It's roughly 14,000 pieces. I sourced the pieces on Bricklink, and then, whatever I had the old UCS Sandcrawler. I took that apart, used as many pieces from that as I could. And of course, this brick is very brittle. This is like the old school red, red sand brick. This thing, it has an interior. It is simply incredible. And I absolutely, it was a test of patience. It was a test of endurance to put this thing together. Cost a small fortune for sure. Just organizing the bricks, organizing the pieces, trying to manage the instructions. They were pretty convoluted. But anyway, got it done, and then kind of built this little diorama around it, which I think just looks really, really cool. And just look at the scale of this thing. Look at the treads and how big the minifigures are compared to it. Just absolute legend. Okay, now another pause here as we enter this final phase of the video, because I want to be very clear on what happened. I had a ETA, a timeline from Moducase on when I thought my shells were going to arrive. I therefore, had other work that was going to be done in the office. Basically, two big things. I wanted to paint the walls a darker gray, and I also wanted to replace the carpet with tile. I told you earlier I put these Alex, on casters. I kind of wanted to be able to wheel around and make the most of my space. The contractor was coming, and I thought that the Moducase was coming as well. So I timed and scheduled everything what I thought was accordingly. I ended up taking all of the Lego out of the room, taking all of the Moducase out of the room, which hopefully you can understand that is no small feat. Gentleman came in, did a great job, painted the room, up, loaded the tile, and the Moducase did not arrive for another basically 6 months. They blamed tariffs. Not tariff. Yeah, tariffs. It was just very frustrating. It's a long, long story. I was extremely frustrated about it. So I basically had my entire collection sitting in the basement. I debated, do I keep it there? What do I do? I ended up moving everything back in. So this next part of the video you're going to see is like the shelves are in the office, but the lights aren't on. Everything's just helter skelter. It's a complete mishmash. It's a total disaster. So I'm going to walk you through that because this is the final video when the final elements of the Moducase had finally arrived and I can finally get to building, and once again had to take all of the Moducase shelving, all of the Lego out, build these corner units that I've been waiting basically 2 years for, and redoing the entire thing. So it was a big process. It was a massive ordeal. I got extremely frustrated about the whole thing. But here we are, we kind of navigated through that. So again, just trying to be clear on what it is you're seeing. This next piece is me updating the Lego collection again. You're going to see it looks all over the place, but now we get into the real meat and potatoes here of phase 4. Okay, time to give a quick update on the Lego room. It is currently a complete mess and a disaster. So these are my Moducase shelves. We're going to go back here and try and do a kind of a wide angle overview here. These are all Moducase shelves. I bought them from Singapore. You special order them. They take forever to be delivered. But right now, the collection is in a state of a complete disarray. You can see I just have boxes and base plates and, IKEA things and empty shelves and everything else. That is because I had some other work done on the office. I painted it. I changed the carpet out for this tile. I wanted black tile in here so I could move wheeled tables a little bit easier. But anyway, I just had an order come through. Waited a long time for it. That'll be a separate video. But what I'd like to do now, I'm going to go ahead and start building. Effectively, what I bought was a corner unit for right here. Now, again, these shelves are not set up appropriately. This is not what they normally look like. The lighting is not hooked up. So I'm going to build the corner shelf that I got for Moducase. I'm going to build the other custom shelves. I also bought the 130, the 60, and the 60, but I bought them in a smaller size to close this gap that you see right here, so that when I reinsert all these shelves, everything should be flush. I'll have a few leftovers that I'll be able to put in kind of like the kids' room or something, and then we will also have it go all the way up to where that kind of duct ceiling thing runs, whatever the hell that would be called. So that's the game plan. Right now I'm going to focus on taking all of these out. I'm going to build a new corner shelf. It's like a special unit that Moducase made, which will kind of push the left and right sides out, build a couple other smaller shelves, and then we're going to take all of the Lego out, all of the shelves out, redo the lighting, bring everything back in, and we're going to see what it looks like. It'll be a pretty big project. So wish me luck. This is it. And so it begins, the Moducase project. Okay, first box is complete here. First Moducase, that is. Took a little bit longer than I wanted it to take because I forgot that I wanted this to be open-ended. That's obviously the plexiglass there. One thing that I learned is I'm leaving the cover here on the plexiglass for as long as I possibly can, because it smudges horribly. And yes, you can kind of clean it, but there's nothing better than the clean view of that plexiglass once you first peel off that thing. So I'm leaving that on as long as I possibly can. This took me about an hour and 45 minutes, which is way too long. I think I can speed it up much better. So we got the next one that we're gonna start on here. And again, I think I can knock this one out probably in an hour, maybe an hour and 20 minutes. So let's see how we do. Okay, just a note to self. Building the first of the corner cases, and it is far more difficult than I thought. The instructions aren't great. There's a little bit of, pre-planning that goes into making sure that I have the sizing right. Again, there's tons of videos out there on how to build these things, but it's definitely taking longer than I thought. Okay, here it is. This is the corner unit, fully built. It's the 1,300 centimeters high. So the front panel, let me just zoom out a tiny bit. The front panel will go right there. And then these I purposefully left open because this is going to be in the corner and it'll all be sealed elsewhere. I need to put the bottom on it still. And I also bought shelves for it, so we'll put some shelves in there. But like this is huge. So this, I'm sorry, you can't really see it that well. This is where the Death Star will go and all the other massive sets that I have. So it should be a really good display. But that is the big update. It took forever to build, huge pain in the butt. But I think I got it done correctly. Okay, next update. So this is built now. This is the corner unit. I have another one of these that will stack on top here. But right now, I have to get everything out. So I'm taking all of the Lego out first. I'm just gonna throw it in the basement somewhere. And then I need to get all these shelves out. Pretty much all of them, literally across the board. So it's gonna be a busy evening for me. And then when that's complete, I can build the second of these two corner units that will be stacked upon one on top of the other, put them in the corner, and then kind of rearrange everything around them. So this is going to be my weekend project. I think I can get it all done. I only need to build 2 cases. And then my other minor challenge is some of these cases, like this one, for example, there's no end piece here for the acrylic. And that was because when this was originally put together, there was something blocking that. So I need to rejig some of that to figure out which ones of these need to be almost like taken apart a little bit and put the acrylic back in. I kept all of that from my first go around. So it's gonna be busy. Let me get the Lego out of here and I'll try and give an update after I get that done. Okay, done. All of this has been removed. Still have to get that wall out. Technically, I kind of just need to push this entire thing, but I need to redo all of the lighting in the back and everything else because it's going to be a tight fit, so things are going to be a little bit different in terms of how it looks. So I need to get all that taken care of. But now will be the moment of truth here, getting this corner unit into the corner, and then just a quick view of the chaos that is. Stuff is absolutely everywhere. So yeah, pretty crazy as far as how things look right now. So let's see if we can get this corner unit in and see what it looks like. And there it is. So that is what this corner unit is gonna look like. So I'll stack another one on top of that. And then these 2 sides will remain open because everything will go out from there. And then the front obviously has the acrylic magnetic piece that'll go on it. Now I do have some shelves that I'll also put in here, and I still need to put the lights on that corner unit as well. But I think this will be a game changer for the way that the overall display looks. And this thing is huge. There is so much room there to put all kinds of larger, kind of capital ships. So it should be pretty cool. Okay, latest update. Everything's out and this shelf is in. It's looking good. The like directionally looks aligned and everything else. Not quite as bad as what I thought it was going to be. I just got this shelf in. I bought actually 3 of these. I'm realizing I bought way too many because I actually need this to be high to fit some of the things that I want to fit in. But it takes so long to order this stuff from Singapore, and I always kind of hedge my bet. So I might use one on the upper shelf once I get up there, but we'll see. The shelf was way more difficult to put in than I remember. I don't know if I just lost my mojo or my technique or what, but it took a long time to get that in. But it's in, it's sturdy. I think we're good to go. Next status update. The place is an absolute disaster, like a total bomb went off. I am now working on the last corner unit. So this one will sit atop of the other one that I have. This is the last thing that I need to build before really experimenting with the lights and then kind of getting everything else set up. So coming into the room here, this is what we have so far. So this is what the corner unit's going to look like. These are just kind of placeholders to show how close this is going to be to the side of the thing. That's leaving about 10 to 11 centimeters right there. And I'll have a little light fixture, but I do want to try and figure out a way to block this off so that it looks a little bit more seamless. And then I'm going to experiment up top as well. I have a lip up there, and I'm going to see if I can't do something to try to make these look a little bit more inbuilt and a little bit more custom. But I'm not very good at that stuff. We'll see if we can get something to look decent, but we're getting there. I'm nervous about the lighting. I think the lighting is going to be more challenging. Not that it's rocket science, but it's the plugs. Where do the plugs go? How far do the extension cords run? And I obviously need to make sure that this whole thing will work on remote controls so that I don't have to be turning on each individual light source, etc. So here's where we are. I got one more shelf to build. I'm hoping that by the end of tonight, I can have pretty much everything restacked and where it needs to be. Right, Frodo? You think so? Status update. Current state of the place. We've got the corner shelves stacked. They go all the way to the top. Looks pretty good. Still need to put the bottoms on them, but they're getting cleaned out. I've got the lighting now working, and I'm getting ready now to stack the rest of this wall up here and get all that complete. I am doing something a little bit weird, something that will probably appall quite a few people. This is Velcro, and I'm actually Velcroing my power onto the wall, and then I have my whatever the hell that thing's called, power cord, plugged in there. So basically, I have this. This is like double-sided, well, like Velcro is all double-sided, I guess, but it's double-sided tape. And then I effectively just, that's it, Velcro it to the wall. I don't know how difficult it'll be to take off someday, but I will probably be either dead or moving by the time this stuff comes down. So that's my hope. Yeah, but I think it looks pretty good, or it's working anyway. And then I'll show you in a second here what it looks like all lit up. Okay, another update. I did make some changes to the layout. Probably not a lot of people familiar with how I did it before, so maybe I'll try and review that. But I'm doing 2 of the DF120s at the bottom this time. And then the DF60s are going to be stacked on top. because in here, I don't know how well you can see it, on these those little shelves right there is where I put my the UCS sets. A lot of the Rebel sets fit on those. So that's that, and then all of this is hooked up to a remote, and boom, lights turn on. I always go with the LED lights. I think they look better. So this entire thing here is lit on that one power strip. And then I have 3 more to go. So I'm going to do 1, 2, probably 3, and get those powered up as well. Okay, current status update. This is Sunday morning. Here's where we are. Everything is now loaded in. There is a tremendous gap right here, and I'm going to fix it. I need to fasten these more tightly. I think this is due to the way that the floor is. I think there's actually a little gap in the floor. Not a gap, but a bend. So I'm going to use the little connectors in the back and get this tightened up. I'm holding off on it because right now I need these to be kind of loose while I finish. I want to finalize a little bit of the lighting, so I'm just leaving it as is for right now. But everything else is done. Now I'm going to start putting in the Lego here, and then I got to do this wall. These are actually placeholders. I need to do a tiny bit of work to get this wall finalized, but we're gonna work on that right now, and this should all be done in a couple hours, minus the display of the actual Lego. That will be a slow roll, so I can get it set up the way I want it to get set up, but right now I'm just trying to recover my basement. Okay, this is it, pretty much complete now. I need to take the I need to peel that paper off, the acrylic there, and then this I need to still tighten up. I'm gonna wait till tomorrow to do that. But the corner is a godsend. That is what I waited basically 2 years for. Obviously need to take that paper off. Now I'm gonna start putting the pieces in. And it'll be a big, healthy mix-up of how things used to look before. So, putting things in different areas, etc. So it should look pretty cool. But that's the journey. I'll do one more once we get it fully outfitted and furnished. Okay, here is the completed setup. Everything is in place. Well, I take that back. The shelves are set up. Right now, there are a few shelves that are kind of the way I want them to be. This one, for example, is the Venator with the small frigate that I built off of Rebrickable, and then the 2 helmets for the Captain Rex and Cody. That, for example, is set up the way I want it to be set up. And then other things, I have what I call the placeholder in there. This is the new Death Star I haven't had a chance to build yet. So rough and tough, I kind of like the way that it's set up. But like some parts of it, for example, this is just a complete disaster. I need to get all that cleaned up and set up and everything else. But let me show you now. These are the remotes. They don't look fancy, but there we go. So 1, 2, 3. And now the entire display is lit. So I have that all done, wireless, which looks pretty good. My dog's in the way. So now, again, kind of got it set up. I rough and tough, I have them vaguely where I want them to be. I now need to kind of tidy it up. I don't really have the minifigs at all out yet. And then some of these I just need to get cleaned up. For example, I have both of Ahsoka's shuttles. I'm actually going to take apart the older one. Even though it's a little bit larger, I kind of like the way it looks. I want to keep the new ones in there. And then even the U-wing back there. You can't really see it that well, but it's back there. And then I have the the newer one. I'm actually, in this case, I'm going to keep the older one, believe it or not. So I'll take the newer one apart. And then my Hoth, kind of diorama is going to have to be just, I need to do a lot of work to get that set up. I'll probably make a video out of that, as a matter of fact, once I get my act together here. So that's it. So now I want to make an attempt to kind of clean it up and get it looking a little bit more the way I want it to look, and perhaps we'll do a final video. And here we have it, the completed Lego room. I say completed, but the reality is it's good enough for now. I basically put, things back roughly where I want them to be, added some minifigures in, built the Wicked Break case for the Star Destroyer, put that on there, little placeholder there for the new Death Star. But I certainly have some shelves that are just complete trash. Like, tell me what the theme of this is. I have no idea. But generally speaking, I'm very pleased with where I ended up. I just have not had the time that I wanted to take. There's a couple things that I wanted to show. I will kind of show this one a little bit. This is the Mando / Ahsoka shelf. So kind of just some of my favorite sets from both Mando and Ahsoka. Again, these are some of the later sets. A lot of them I've already taken apart for Mando. And then up here, I want to show this. This is the old U-Wing from Andor. Sorry, Rogue One, not Andor. But I bought these little hexagonal minifig plates off of TikTok. I kind of like them. I only use them there, but I might experiment with that a little bit more. And then the two pieces of work that I still have to do are down here. I'd like to build a Hoth diorama that'll be kind of a consistent placement there for the bottom shelf. And then the same thing over here. This bottom shelf here will be Tatooine. That's what I had previously. I liked it, so I need to kind of clean that up. I did get the sand crawler back in place. I'll be honest, it was an absolute pain in the ass. Super difficult to move that thing. It's so brittle. I get so frustrated. So this thing is going to sit there now until, well, who knows, until I die or move or whatever. I've seen that Brick Moon has actually made a new, what he calls the Digger Crawler. It's actually built on the same infrastructure as what Cave God built with this one, but then they had some other designers come in and redesign the interior, etc. So maybe someday in the far future, I will take a stab at taking this thing apart and doing something different, trying to firm it up and make it a little bit better. So there you have it. Really pleased with the way everything came out. That middle shelf, the corner shelf, looks infinitely better. I feel like it adds so much to the room, but very cool. I got my pieces organized a little bit better. Things are cleaned up. I still need to take apart a couple sets here and there, but we are in much better shape, and I feel like I can start building again. Awesome. Hope you enjoy. Well, that is a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some value out of this and got to see a little bit of where I've come from, where I landed, some of my thinking along the way, some of the challenges I ran into. I am very happy to answer any questions. So please, make a comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And I will do my best to answer any questions and, kind of share some of the additional detail on what I went through, what I would do differently if I had to do it again, and provide any guidance I can at all. So thank you. Happy Lego Star Wars collecting, and appreciate you watching.